cast where the fandoms unite, with a Boba Fett swagger and the Jedi's in sight. It's a comic book cocktail, shaken and stirred. We're the coolest cats in the whole nerd herd. Grab your badge and strike.
Oh man, I don't think I've heard that song in 2 weeks. Shit.
Three.
I think it's been longer than that. Yeah.
Yeah, we well, first off, hi everybody. So
Hi.
and hi Daryl, how are you doing today, man?
I'm doing okay. I had quite the trip out to Southeast Kansas to fly. What?
Oh, you froze.
Daryl got that Bigfoot fuzzy going on.
Yeah. It's my screen. On my screen you're a little fuzzy. I'm sure it'll work its way out in a second.
Yeah,
So-
I'm sure it will.
So wait, sorry,
But-
you were saying you're out in Western Kansas?
Yeah, no. I was out in Eastern Kansas, flying a site, but that's all I did today was ran out there, did that, came back, uploaded data, and did stuff like that. So, standard day. Although it was quite fun logging on this morning to see that they dumped, over 10 new closeouts on me. So I got to go get those flown. Fun.
Oh, because now I feel bad because I actually had a good day. Granddaughter's birthday, we went and saw a movie, we went out to eat. It's good stuff. Matter of fact, I just made it back home like 20 minutes ago. So
how did Zootopia go?
well, yeah, we went and watched Zootopia 2. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Of course, I'm an animation nerd and they did a good job. Voice acting was all real good. There's voice actors in it I didn't know were in it. I'm gonna slaughter his name. Quay Q Jong. Short round from Indiana
Oh.
Jones and the Goonies.
Yeah.
And, yeah, he was the main snake in the whole thing.
He's in real life a badass.
He
now.
is a badass. Yeah.
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 He's one of those. I think everybody's happy to see the actor come back when he came back into acting and do real well. But when he was in there, I was like, man, somehow his broken English fits a snake so well. But yeah, like Danny Trejo was in it. They had a bunch of good actors in it.
Love Danny Trejo. Was it as good as the first one?
I liked it as good as the first one. I mean, the
Good.
first one was new.
I'm a fan of anything Animorph.
Well, and that's the thing with it with me was
That's because, we've
Shut up,
seen your
Daryl.
search history. Okay.
yeah, I have yet to take him to a furry convention. I'm a little scared.
Yeah.
No,
He's the one that shows up with the black light to add to it.
Yeah.
Pollock painting
Just looking for the clean
isn't
spot.
done enough.
I shouldn't say that. I got a lot of friends that are furries. I just feel like I got to stand up for them. But then I got a couple of those friends. It's like you're the reason, motherfucker. Now actually, I was sitting there at the theater, thoroughly enjoying it. And back in the day, we did a lot of playing like After the Bomb, the turtle stuff, and I'd done my own comic books on anamorphic animals. And it really made me want to sit down and go, this whole Zootopia thing they have is real cool, but they're missing out on a lot of the stuff that we did when we were doing it. And it's like, man, I really want to sit down and work on that comic book again.
With what's going on with all the D&D stuff now, I think Mortimer and Tip would fucking go over
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah, that wasn't so much anamorphic animals, but
It was still cool.
but man, to me, like drawing anamorphic animals is so easy.
Yeah.
I can do it so quick. So I kind of makes me want to sit down and draw like that again. A lot of those stories that I was so confident in when we were young are not. Those stories have already been done now, or they're just not as good as I remember them. When you go back and look, you're like, oh, that was such a brilliant, cool idea, and now it's.
We need to do like Critical Role is doing. We need to just take one gaming session and make that a comic book or a cartoon or something. Because our gaming sessions used to rock, dude.
Yeah. Well, and I fear that though, because I think it's kind of like doing a podcast. It's every gamer out there goes, you know what? We need to do like Critical Role because everybody would love to watch us game.
Well,
Although I do feel that way. I feel that way. But
we used to say that way 20 years before Critical Role.
this is true. And
we
I
started
will say
working on that.
when we go game at conventions, a lot of times people want to come game with us, and it's
Right.
so there is.
Well-
but I think some of that goes with being an entertainer, maybe.
Well, even when we were gaming at that local, game shop that used to be in Newton.
New
How many
hobby center,
Oh
times?
yeah.
How many times when we were gaming did all of a sudden, even though we were in a back room, all of a sudden there was a crowd around us
The
as
room
we
was
were doing our
full. Yeah, sometimes the room would be full when you and I were doing the GURPS thing.
Yeah, that happened a lot, even doing Warhammer
Yeah.
and stuff, which
Yep.
is not a personality based game where we'd get out there and start playing Warhammer, and then people would just show up and go, "Oh, I heard you were gaming. I just want to watch," and it's like, well, that's
You-
cool, but
They just
Well,
came to watch people
it's
get
because
bad.
the sheer level of trash that we talk. I
that,
mean,
that's
we
part
are
of it.
That's
a
a lot
trash
of it.
talking. Yeah.
This is one reason I'm not always, I don't want to say great at sports, but when I'll play volleyball and stuff, and just any kind of competitive sports. To me, half of the thing is trash talking. Like if I go play darts, even trash talking is half of it. Just because it's fun and and I'll take it too, man. If I'm losing, I'll trash talk on myself. But it makes it entertaining and it makes it fun.
Entertaining was when I stuck that dart in BJ's foot. That was fucking entertaining.
Well, and I think anytime, like with any gamer out there, and we've all, I know us as a group have talked about it. I don't want to say like all gamers have talked about it, but there's always those power gamers that just they want to get out there. I'm the biggest, baddest motherfucker out here, and my 4'7" guy looks down at every one of your guys,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that kind of shit. Not many people want that in a game. When you hear those stories
No.
told, it's always that person that was the biggest, baddest person telling the story on, oh, we had this great adventure where I was just so awesome. Normally what it would be is like, oh, we had this one adventure where I had a monkey that was the gunner and he had a fear or phobia that he would pee himself every time he shot a gun or something like that. And then you
You
tell
know,
stories like that.
Some of the best stories of games I can remember aren't the successes, but the failures
Yes.
and how you got out
Oh
of that.
yeah.
pit, You know,
Or didn't, and
Yeah, well, didn't.
the times when you just had to wad up a character and go, okay, let's start again.
Yeah.
Well, see that, and not to pat myself on the back, but as a GM, I used to love that because we'd have your sessions where everybody rolled up characters, and so often either somebody would roll up a character and just go, "Oh, it didn't come out the way I like. I'm starting over," which I hate that.
Mm-mm.
And the other one would be they go through one adventure and they go, "Yeah, I'm going to roll up a new character for this campaign because I don't like that guy." So I would take those shit characters and then I would play them. And I've got characters that even today people tell stories like, remember that Dig Dug guy you had that was like a groundhog? Yeah. Oh, he was a badass. No, actually, he was a pussy.
Yeah.
He sucked so bad,
One of my favorite
but everybody
characters-
remembers the personality.
One of my favorite characters was Gaivano the Orc Slayer,
Yes.
the halfling. Just the luckiest motherfucker in the world because we used arms and claw law, and he'd get open-ended crits all the time. But he really wasn't that good. But he killed a lot of motherfuckers because he was lucky.
It's those good stories that
Yeah.
go behind it that like
You
this
have a
person's become
halfling orc slayer? Yeah, I do.
Well, I knock it up to like there's this old animation I love from the 90s. It was a gray digital target. And this story's been done a ton of times with other characters, but he ends up building up this awesome reputation of being this awesome dude in battle and stuff. Like, oh, he was at the Battle of Blue Ridge and he was the only survivor. Well, that's because he hid under the bodies. Nobody knows.
Oh, yeah.
Or he did the killing blow to the dragon, and it's like, yeah, because the dragon choked on his leg. That kind of shit. But
Well,
then when
it's
you get
like-
the legendary stories that make the character awesome.
Of course, you guys have at least seen some of the excerpts from the show Reservation Dogs.
Oh, yes. I
right.
love
I've
that show.
not
All
yet
right.
watched the show.
Love that.
But we've all seen Edward Knifehand, all right? And he died at the Battle of Little Bighorn, and he wasn't even, his horse, broke its leg in a gopher hole and rolled over onto him and killed him. All right. And you know what? He's an amazing character, and everybody loves him because he's a flawed character. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
but
what
I love
if
him
you have something
Poking his
perfect,
head in
it's
the
horrible.
window, poking his head in the window. Oh, young warrior, and scaring the fucking shit out of him.
See, I haven't
Bothering
seen
him,
the series.
bothering him in the outhouse and shit like that.
Oh yeah,
should say,
it's great stuff.
Jonathan and Kristen are both on. Hi guys, I just now
Howdy.
turned chat on.
Hey,
So, and John says he trash talks during D&D. I think that's the way to do it, man. and not to the point where you're annoying everybody.
And I love what Kristen said there. Role playing is better than role playing.
Yes.
Yes, most definitely.
Yeah. And spelled ROLE compared to ROLL. Say it 3 times fast.
Yep.
But
Yeah, and that's like that one time here, it was several years ago that we were all playing over another individual, unnamed, and my character, because it was the roles that came up with the character creation. My character was a dumbass. All right, and and the GM.
I mean, play what you know.
I
Yeah,
really-
that's right.
Yeah,
I can see.
yeah.
how
I
you
was
feel
playing
that.
Tim. All right. But I believe the GM truly had a problem when I was playing the character as a dumbass. All right, he's a dumbass. I can't do wonderful, brilliant things with him if he has the IQ of a stewed cabbage. All right, you take what you get.
Well, it's like the campaign we started with Frank and Papa Frank and stuff, where my character just had like we rolled for like a quirk that the character has, and I got to choose between 1 and 3, and I picked local celebrity, just because I got that like F-rate thing going already with Little Beer stuff. So I was like, oh, I know how to play a celebrity that means nothing to anybody. I can do this shit. So I played it to where every time something happened, like we go to the gates of the town, they won't let us in. I just go, do you know who I am? And then I'd give him like a spiel. By the end of the game, it pissed Frankie off so much that he then attacked me because, and to me, I was like, oh, success. I've done well. I role played that character, and that's the character now that I remember that character. Otherwise, I wouldn't have had I not played it like that. If I'd just been a dwarven thief or whatever I was, it wouldn't have mattered. But playing that quirk made the whole character to me.
Well, you two guys get it. I mean, like when we played my game, you, Daryl, the character I made for you, you play it just like he should be played. That drunk Irish dude for you, John, you play it just like he should be played. A lot of people don't get that. I mean, but that's what makes it fun, is to have those little quirks, those little idiosyncrasies that you as a person understand that character would play. I mean, a sergeant in the British Army, you were a sergeant in the Marines, Daryl. You get it, and it's
and
fun.
That's the whole thing. There's a whole lot of Daniel Day-Lewis going on. You gotta method act that stuff a little bit, and you gotta realize if the character you're playing is a certain way. I mean, if he's a sergeant in the English army, he is not gonna be a sneaky Pete, who wants to go and stand behind trees and fire from an ambush. That's not the hey diddle diddle straight up the middle. That's the way they did it.
Daniel Day-Lewis is a good example, because all the time I think of Bill the Butcher in Gangs of New York.
Oh man!
And I'm like, oh, I'd play that motherfucker right there. I'd play the hell out of that character. Yeah,
dude, he learned because he had a glass contact lens in. He learned to not blink as he tapped himself on the eye with a knife.
Oh, I could go on for an hour in Gangs of New York. I love that movie.
Yep. And Christine, I have her as a sneaky brat. Yep.
Real quick, John says we should get together and play. I'm all about it. Problem is, everybody wants to play with me. It's in Wichita. It is so much of a pain. You'll notice I'm not even at the Burrow tonight, where none of us are because of me. So, but making it to Wichita sometimes for gaming once a week can be a pain in the ass. Sean says, good evening, dropping by to say hi. Back to work for me. Hey, Sean.
Hey, Sean.
And I should apologize too, because the last 3 weeks we've missed, that was me too. Because I had been sick for a couple weeks, like real sick. And last time I was on here, I was sick. And then
yes.
Yeah. And then last week I went and had dental work done, and it was kind of last minute dental work. So I texted Daryl and went, I could be on there, but all I'm going to do is look pretty. He's like, you can't even do that. So we skipped. But yeah, I couldn't talk last week, right before Thanksgiving too. So.
Oh no, you had to stick to the soft stuff like pumpkin pie. Such a shame.
And Thursday we did a full German Thanksgiving with all sorts of German food and shit. So yeah, we had Veronica and of course kraut and sausage and all that. And I ate some, don't get me wrong, but my mouth was messed up. and then we moved our actual Thanksgiving to Sunday, and then that way I could eat better. But even now,
Yeah.
a week later, it still kind of hurts up in here. But
Mm.
yeah, it is what it is. So I'm good now.
Oh,
But,
good.
so I didn't mean to pull us off the gaming talk because
No, it's okay. Now let me tell you. All right, one of the things, the news topics of the last several weeks that we've missed out on has been the release. What? You smile really
the
big.
last several weeks, I keep thinking all the things I wrote down I didn't bring with me, so I got to try to remember because it's been a couple weeks. But go on.
But before we change
All
the
right.
subject, real quick, stick just on gaming for a second. What do you guys think about doing a gaming session one Wednesday night at the Burrows? Can we do that?
Oh, they'd easily let us.
Well, the thing is that we have to keep in mind their closing time.
Right.
All right, which means that we would have to be, on time starting.
Oh, so what
Okay,
we
let
do
me
is
see here.
we invite Derek to play with us because I think he'd be a blast to play with.
I think you would too. Yeah.
And then he's got a key to the door.
Oh,
Uh-huh. And a key
Yeah,
to
yeah,
the
he-
refreshment cabinet. So
yeah, he might know the owner. Oh,
yeah.
which speaking of which, my geekgasm has been I took the Orville to the Burrows, and I was because I was talking to them like a couple days before, and I was like, I have no idea what to do with this big ass model that I made. I don't have the room for it in the house, and Jessica's giving me the side eye because she's tired of working around it, and they opened up the please give it to us, and so I gave it to them, and they hung it up inside the Burrow. So the Orville is now hanging up in the Burrow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
They posted it on social media. I was just telling everybody at the movie about it. Well, not everybody, the people I was with. But yeah, it looks good up there.
Yeah, it does because, like I said, that's like a 10-foot model. It looks best from about 10 feet away. And since it's hanging from the ceiling, it's got that proper distance, so it actually looks good. But no, what I was going to talk about was
good at 10 feet away.
yeah, it's a 10-foot model.
Wow. Don't be so hard on yourself, man. Your stuff looks good, Daryl.
Matter of fact, I was just bragging that up downstairs. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. No, but what I wanted to bring up was actually gaming ancillary. It was not a total veer off. Basically, since we have last joined together, there have been 3 big major drops in AI. First one was ChatGTP came out with the GTP 5.1, which was, like, oh, it's the big thing. All right. But then right after that, Google dropped Gemini 3.0 Pro, which completely blew GTP away. So much so that at OpenAI, which does ChatGTP, they are doing what they call they're under a code red right now because they got so completely smoked that people are quitting OpenAI and all moving in mass over to Gemini. And with that, Gemini 3 Pro, and also right after that, they then released Nano Banana 2 Pro, which is taking the Nano Banana, the image generation just completely skyrocketed. Now you have no problems with, like, if you have something with text on it, the text is correct. All right.
Oh, that's.
And
See,
you can do things like
that because it's already too hard to figure it out.
You can give it like 5 images of your character, and it will keep the continuity of that character through multiple images, so you don't lose that character that you liked.
I like that.
And,
you know how I know this shit's come out? Because all the YouTube collection videos I watch of like Bigfoot and comic book shit and all this, now the characters look consistent, and it's so hard to tell. Christy, I watched one on like ocean creatures today, and she's like, "Holy crap, is that real?" And I'm like, "No, that's all AI."
No.
She's like, "But it has the right amount of fingers. It has." And it's like, yeah,
it's gotten so much to the point that apparently, how the younger generation makes up their own words for stuff. That's how we got that 6, 7, and all the stuff like that. They have a new a new term that they're using for something that is fake. They're calling it, they just call it, oh, that's AI, which is their shorthand for, oh, that's fake.
Oh,
So
that makes sense.
it's getting to that point that people are just starting to not believe everything that they see on the internet. It's completely 180 from what it has been, unless you're a certain subset of political individual, which we won't get into.
Kelly was saying, I saw that they're talking heavy about Hollywood going AI. I think right now
Yeah.
the number one Christian artist in the world is AI. I'm
Mhm.
pretty sure.
Yeah, I
and-
mean, it is. They said within 5 years it would be a huge impact in Hollywood, and that was just 2 years ago. So it's a coming, kids. But anyways, the new stuff that Gemini 3.0 can do is just amazing. Like the big thing is the agents. You can actually have it do an agent, and that agent, if you tell it to, will go out, will book things for you, set up whole, travel itineraries, book things, and down to the point where it will stop at the point where it says, okay, now you need to push the button to go ahead and submit this. But up until that point, it will do everything for you with no hand holding.
Shit. Hey, Jake.
Hey, Jake.
So what?
And
Well,
so
we need an AI WAGs agent. Then that way I don't have to
That's
book
just what I
shows
thought. I didn't
anymore
want to
and
say shit.
There-
but
their
There's
humor
too-
is still
there's
not
too
good.
many- There's too much
Yeah.
fine tuning that has to be done that it wouldn't be able to.
well,
It could start the process for us, but it would have to hand it over.
it's
to us.
like all the people who are trying to
Dude.
make an AI game master. It just does not compete with a human game master. They're trying
Well,
it.
no, it doesn't.
Yeah.
That's the
But
reason this is where it comes back, because I'm using it to help, as an assistant, as a
I
game
can
master
see it too. I
assistant.
can see it using it as a tool, but not as a solo game master where
Oh
you can
God,
just,
no.
yeah, no, there's no, you need a human being for that. And I'm not saying that human beings are smarter than AI. Evidently AI has much more knowledge than we do, but we're different.
Well, but and not all of it's
It's
bad, because we've had that back when I started casting, or like we were just talking about with the 3D printers and the resin printers. So many people are like, "Oh, it's going to destroy the gaming market." It's done nothing but help it.
Yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
I mean, I'm sure Games Workshop isn't making as much off of some of their minis,
And fuck them,
But-
by the way.
but yeah, I'm not seeing any of the gaming. If nothing else, it's creating more businesses, and I'm not seeing anybody going out of business because of it.
Yep.
So
yeah. I mean,
So-
I'm seeing it on the modeling front when it comes to creating models and stuff like that. Like, oh my god, they have just dropped some amazing models here recently. Like the entire ship from Close Encounters of the Third Kind, the big thing that comes over Devil's Tower at the end.
yeah, of course, yeah.
That whole ship. Yeah, it's a full 3-foot diameter model.
The
Yeah, it's the leaps in imagination that doesn't have the leaps. Kristen is very right. It doesn't have the leaps in imagination, and it doesn't have the intuition of when and where to apply things. I mean,
It's not organic.
Well, a good GM can read the people in their party and go,
Right. Mhm.
I got to put on kid gloves with this person, or I can tell this person has a lot of personality, so I'm gonna have the bartender approach that one, or whatever. Things that AI just can't quite grab.
well, see, what I would love for it to get to the point of as a GM is get to the point where it can actually listen along. And if somebody comes along and goes, oh, if one of the protagonists all of a sudden has an NPC that they have to deal with, all right, that I do not have created, where it can go ahead and just put me together a random NPC really quickly, just give me some quick stats. That way I've got my, my popcorn enemy that people can just go ahead and crunch. And that kind of stuff I'd love.
Use it as a tool, not a replacement. That's
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
See, this is what Jonathan said. I'm looking forward to seeing how 3D printing and AI can work together. Yeah, and there's a thing I was watching on YouTube the other day where there's ways now to import your character to have it 3D printed, but it would be so much easier if you could just explain it to AI. I have a dragonkin that looks like this, that does this, says this, and then AI just says, okay, I'll print you a mini, and 15 minutes later, or 2 hours later, whatever, you got a mini
Well-
instead of having
well,
to go in and
they
make
can,
it.
It can write files now. So I would assume you could show it a picture of, let's say, like this Wolverine here, and go, I would like a 35 millimeter scale miniature of that right there, and it would make the file. I would assume.
They're already doing it.
There you go. See,
All right.
Good.
They're
Well, you don't
already
know
doing it.
Daryl
Matter of
is
fact,
actually
if
alive, so he's just saying this shit.
Yeah, Daryl died
Yeah.
4 years ago.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's why we only see him online.
Don't say
This is
that.
why
The
he's
operation
smiling
was a
right now.
success. No, but like Jonathan, if you go to Maker Labs, all right, if you go to Maker Labs, no, excuse me, was it Maker? God, the bamboo place. It's makerworld.com, and go to their lab section. They already have tons of things that, I mean, like I was just playing around with it the other day, where if you hand it photos, it will go ahead and create a 3D figure off of those photos, and you can then download the file and print it off if you wanted to. And you can put styles in there if you want it more cartoony or not cartoony and stuff like that. You can do that already.
I mean, the AI pulled out of it. They're like, even now you can go, we've done it at conventions. Rich has done a couple of those statues where you go in and get your picture taken, and it does like
That's not AI.
Yeah. No,
That's
like
not
what,
AI.
that's what I said. Yeah, that's why I was saying take the AI out of it. But like that kind of shit you can already do. So really, all it
Yeah.
would be doing would be turning that over to AI.
I have seen a lot of, I mean, it's only going to get better, and that's the whole thing you have to remember. It's only going to get better.
Yeah,
But I have
AI
seen
will start
this
writing the programs for AI. That's why it'll be better. Pull us out of the
eventually
equation
here.
altogether. Yeah.
What's going on now with Gemini 3.0 and also Grok and Claude? It's getting better and better at writing code. But what was I going to say? But a lot of the stuff right now, if you put in what you want to see, what it generates is very, amorphic and, not detailed. And it doesn't have a good, ability to separate different objects on the model. But like I said, it's only getting better. If you just looked 2.5 years ago when they were first generating videos, the whole, test video, the litmus that people would use there was a video that was created of Will Smith eating spaghetti.
Yeah.
And it looked like a Cthulhu nightmare. All right.
I saw that.
It was,
I think everybody's seen that one. That's probably pretty popular. Yeah.
but now I think it's just spot on, and that only took 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And
That's the
a
scary
lot of
part
the
of
stuff
this.
now is just amazing.
Well, my granddaughter is even sitting there talking today about how she wants to be an animator for Disney when she gets older. And at first I said, how about you just decide you want to be an art? Because that's what I was going to school for, was animator for Disney. And it was like, the older I got, the more I found out the industry and how that's probably not a great idea. And that's why a lot of animators leave Disney. So I kept trying to tell her, like, just plan on being an artist. And that was part of it, is by the time you're ready to start animating, animation is not going to be like, it's not what it was in the 90s. It's not what it was in the 80s. And it's totally changing again. It's when she's old enough, AI will be doing half of this shit.
Jake said he sent us a picture.
Okay.
He did a picture for us and stuff.
Awesome.
No,
And Jonathan,
but that's the whole
go
thing. By the
ahead.
time she is ready to be an animator,
Uh-huh.
she won't need Disney. She'll be able to do the entire, whatever her dream is, whatever her vision is for her short or her full movie. She'll be able to do that all herself at home and put it out herself and be an independent artist and still be able to make money and be able to do it in a timely fashion.
She kind of mentioned this because she said, well, I will be a YouTube animator. And because we were having this discussion when I was probably about 1990 to 94, I was really working on a for my portfolio for school and stuff, I was trying to make my own animated short. It would have been 3 minutes. I still got a bunch of the sketches. It was a bunch of wolves running in the woods, turning into werewolves to an Enya song. And doing that 3 minutes, I'd worked on that for 4 years.
Yeah.
And still, but that was technology in the 90s to do some of this shit. Doing that now, I could hop on AI right now. By the end of the week, I could have something put together, and that's just giving it enough prompts to make it happen with the cutscenes and shit.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's the reason I think there's going to be a, and I've said this before, there's going to be a resurgence of appreciation for things done by hand. I mean,
Yes,
we all
I
saw it
agree. Yep.
here. We all saw it this
Posting was
last
mentioned that too.
several conventions that we've gone to. All right, when we saw, and it was usually it was mostly individuals there doing crochet work. All right, that's where it started off, was people doing hand done crochet, but seeing people with handmade things, that was a breath of fresh air. Everybody commented on it, and everybody loved the fact that it was real stuff. It wasn't AI generated, it wasn't 3D printed, and it wasn't drop shipped from China.
Well, and this is right before the show. This is part of the conversation we were having with the way the industry is talked about, because we're both looking at different avenues of things within the pop culture industry that we're in, how to do things. And we talked about vending and how vending has changed. Like Pastor Dave, the stuff he sells compared to the stuff that I hand tooled and sold. Not against stuff Dave makes. He makes great stuff. They make way more money than I did vending. And we talked about the 3D printers, and I said, here's the problem. And this is where the Orville even came up, is so many of these 3D printers, we go to these conventions and festivals and we see the same fucking 3D printer at 5 different booths with a lot of the same files, the same dice towers, all that shit. And I said, like, Daryl and I, the shit we do, when somebody goes, oh, I want one of yours, it's usually the paint job on it they want, not so much the kit. It's that, oh, that doesn't look like it's 3D printed. It looks like a kit. And like a lot of the stuff you do, like with a lot of the lighting and different things, that's something that's got to be done by hand by the person. And so those kind of 3D print booths, if I saw those at festivals, I'd love them. I'd go in just to look at the art of it. But so many of them, it's just that, oh, I printed it in 6 different colors on my new bamboo, whatever, and it's anybody can do it. I don't want to say anybody can do it, but anybody can do it. You don't have to have an artistic eye or any of that shit. You just got to go, I downloaded the file, push the button, and glued it together.
Well, you actually finally, during this downtime that we had, I can no longer complain now that you've never come down and seen my little crafting room, because you have popped in and seen it now. And I got one hell of a lot of painting stuff set up to do a good paint job. And I'm hoping that made you a little bit jealous.
I like the room for sure. But to my right, I guess it would be your left. It's much like a lot of the shit I have. You have a whole shelf of probably, I don't know, 50 fucking Enterprises and Birds of Prey, all still in the back boxes and cellophane and all this. Haven't got to them yet. And it made me go, oh, I'm not the only one.
Oh God, no.
Hey, some of those models you got that are unopened and unpainted, man, in the future with the way 3D printing is now, people aren't going to be making and doing models like they used to. A lot of those companies might go out of business. Someday that shit's going to be worth some money.
Oh, yeah.
Well, not necessarily, because, I mean, there's because I 3D print some models, like the Orville and, Futurama ship and stuff like that. I 3D print, models like that, but they do not have the same, lightness and construction that a polystyrene model has. That is there's less bulk to it. It's easier to do things in. I don't see 3D printing running it out of business yet. I do see 3D printing, especially the resin printers. I do see that affecting some people when it comes to the aftermarket parts.
Oh, I could see that.
Yeah, and minis, of course. That's the reason Games Workshop is so so adamant. No, you have to use ours, and otherwise it's not an official. Well, you know what? Kiss my ass. We
Well,
won't
that's why I don't gain competition at all, because I don't want that. Oh, did you use our Citadel paints on that? Did you buy brushes from the Games Workshop? No, fucking, I got some Walmart brushes for all the dry brushing because I knew I was going to destroy them. It's
Yeah.
you don't need
My
that.
primer is Rust-Oleum, so you can kiss my ass on that one.
I think what Tim was saying on some of those being worth money, it's because I'm even looking around this room here, like right there's that Serenity flying mule from the movie.
Yeah.
And that thing, that was a gift from the Burroughs, and I think that was like $300 when it came out. And it's now worth more because it's a limited edition cast kit.
Well,
like that ash up there. I paid $70 for that back in '95, and they discontinued them and stuff. I've seen those sell for $500.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, over Black Friday, Lego released their first ever Star Trek model, that big $400 Star Trek Enterprise D that they released.
That's their first Star Trek model?
That's their first Star Trek.
Multitude
and they
Ghostbusters.
They did
Star
not
Wars
realize.
Yeah.
They did not realize the amount of demand for it. It sold out worldwide in 48 hours.
Oh, he turned around and made it a good thing. Damn it.
I was about to say, they just now are starting with the Star Trek stuff because they've already done everything cool.
Yeah.
They've got nothing else to do.
They're like, everybody's done with Pokemon. I guess let's go one step down to Star Trek.
Yeah,
okay.
And they may have sold out worldwide, but they only made 10 of them. They didn't know if it was going to go.
There were 38. There were 38, motherfucker.
38. Wow.
They figured they had to do 2 or 3 more than there were fans available. It's no fun giving you shit when it's like sold out.
Yeah.
But now Black Friday, Cyber Monday fucked me hard. I got a hold of you on Cyber Monday about the new printer, right?
Yeah.
Because I got on
Amazon. You sent me a message. You sent me a message like 11 o'clock at night on Cyber Monday. In
fairness, you know why I sent that? Because in the winery group chat, you had sent a message, and because I was going to text you, I was like, oh, it's way too late. And then that message came in, I went, oh, fuck, Daryl's up. So I sent that to you real quick.
Well, but the problem is I have my phone automatically set up that my do not disturb kicks in at 10 p.m. So I'll receive the messages, but I won't get the notifications on it. So if you knew I was still up, you should have called me.
Well, I didn't know for sure you were still up because I thought, oh, maybe that got sent late. But yeah, no, well, I'll finish that story. John says, and you got that ash sign. Yeah, John took me to Oklahoma. And
second there. I was like, how does he know about the tattoo on my ash? But anyways,
no, I've told this story 100 times, but I've got a bust cast done from Army of Darkness that has Bruce Campbell's face. So I had that signed, and Gabe had that kit signed for me. So that's signed as well, worth money. But the deal was when you got up there, you get one question with Bruce Campbell, and Gabe got up, talked to him for a minute, which was great. And I get up there and I said, how's it going? Or how you doing? How you doing? He goes, great. That's your question. And I was like, motherfucker. Oh, and then I literally started to step away, and he's like, no, come back. So he was nice. But, I was like, oh, you son of a bitch. I can't even remember the question I asked him. Like, remember that?
I bet he's got a bet going on with his handler. How long do you think it's going to take till somebody asks me how it's going?
I'm going to make some cry today. You watch.
I'm going to crush him.
Did you see the guest list for the Des Moines, Iowa Comic-Con coming up?
I have not. I was just talking to him about the Planet Comic-Con guest list. They got some
they basically, except for I think they don't have Nathan Fillion, but they have almost the still living cast of Firefly there.
I did see that because Jewel State liked something I had posted.
Yeah, I think Jewel's going to be there.
Yeah,
River, whatever her name is. And yeah, the doctor, and then Alan Tudyk. Yeah, they're all going to be there. Of course, was in the movie Ron Glass isn't going to be there. That's sad.
No.
Yeah.
Is that Preacher?
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Now,
kind
Jewel
of
Staite,
did.
somehow I got on her
I didn't
right.
know he was dead.
Yeah, he passed away. That's why they killed him in the Serenity movie. Because
No,
he
no.
was like, come again.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
He was fighting cancer, I believe it was. After the
Oh, I
series
didn't
being
know that at
canceled.
the time.
And so they knew that he wasn't
Summer
going to be
Glau.
able.
There we go.
Yeah, they knew he wasn't going to be able to do anything after the Serenity movie, so they thought it was better to let his character go.
Yeah.
So that's why
Yeah.
they wrote.
So
it in
what's
the
their
way.
excuse for Wash? What's the excuse on that one?
Well,
He's a
well,
leaf on the wind, motherfucker. He's a
okay,
leaf on
so
the wind.
that's
Watch how he
Joss
soars.
Whedon, dude. That's Joss. Fucking Bill Messino from Three Pints Gone got to be Nathan Fillion's handler once, and he
Mhm.
gets they got to move from one location to another, so he gets in a limo with Nathan Fillion, and there's Alan Tudyk, Bill's even a bigger Alan Tudyk fan than Nathan Fillion, and he's sitting there and he's like, I got to say something to him. I got to say, what do you say to Alan Tudyk? We got a bond. We got a bond. I'm gonna go, dude. It sucks so bad they killed you in the movie, and just Sam goes, yeah, Joss does that shit. And he said it was the most awkward, quiet ride for the rest of the fucking ride. And
Oh,
but
man.
yeah, Joss. The thing is that's the thing Joss does. He almost every movie you watch that he directs, a major character dies somewhere in the movie. He and that's what he did. But I don't know. It's one of the many reasons we won't ever get that sequel series or anything, because
It's
Joss is
that ship has sailed.
Yeah.
That should have been done 15, 20 years ago. It should
It
not be
should
done
have
now.
been.
But matter of fact, that's how I got on Jules' radar. I'd met her before. We even tried to hire her for Emerald City Steampunk Expo. Had her hired actually, and then her price went up a little bit during the thing, and we weren't able to do it. We were still
Mhm.
looking at it, and then she said she had family shit. But anyhow, she was real cool. But Three Pints Gone had done the Jane song at St. Louis Ren Fair, and then Jules saw it, and then she did a video of her singing along to Three Pints Gone on stage.
I saw that. I saw that.
posted it.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
somehow got me on her radar then, and so she liked the video, and I got sent that thing from Iowa Fair. I just thought that was neat, so I'm sharing it.
Oh, cool beans.
But
That
Okay,
brings
okay, I
you
get-
back up to maybe a E-rate celebrity, up from the
right,
F.
just between I'm an F plus celebrity.
I just want to say, Daryl, I know you're a huge Star Trek fan, and I'm so down with a GURPS Star Trek scenario, but a GURPS Firefly thing would be a blast too, man.
Well, there's a Firefly RPG as well.
Is there?
Yeah. So it wouldn't
Oh,
take
yeah.
much. Yeah, but yeah, GURPS.
I think it'd be better with Daryl running it. Daryl can run a good campaign.
Yeah. I think in that
Oh.
universe it would be a cool, but the thing is you'd want to expand it so much because there's so much shit we haven't got, even via the comic books and shit.
Mhm.
I feel like I'd be doing it an injustice if I start adding too much to the verse. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And my problem is that verse is so, it's such a Western that, a part of me, almost looks at it as Borderlands. All right.
I can see that.
Yeah,
I can see a little
Borderlands is
bit.
kind of, just because the different worlds have their different flavors to them. And I'm sorry, but if I'm going to be running a Firefly verse, there's going to be a lot of gunplay.
Hell
And
Kelly says he has the model gun from that show. He has Mal's revolver,
Oh, kick ass.
limited edition resin cast. I tried to get it off,
oh, nice.
but yeah, it looks really nice. I thought I would wear it for
Well,
Steampunk.
too bad you said that out loud. We could have, made something happen this weekend. He would have been a little bruised, but we could have gotten it. But now it's recorded, and we no longer
Well,
have plausible deniability.
the thing is, now we could just print it too. We won't have that limited edition
Mhm.
stuff. And to me now, I'd be like, if I carried his to festival and got it messed up at some steampunk festival, I would feel horrible. But 3D print, I'd be like, yeah, I'll just glue it or I'll print another one.
Yeah.
Let's see here real quick. Seen that too. I want to make sure I haven't been checking chat for a second. So,
Okay.
Kristen has the main book for Firefly, I'm assuming. Yeah. For Firefly.
And she
Yeah.
can share it to Daryl as if all of a sudden
Hint,
Daryl
hint, wink,
becomes
wink.
the. Well, no, I meant
So she knows
I am.
Daryl will get
We
shit
need
done.
to we need to settle on a day to start the
Campaigns.
Prime Directive. Yeah, because I am ready to roll on it. And so we just, that first session is going to be character generation because it takes a little while. It's not like D&D where you just get handed something where you make up a background and then, everything else is just cookie cutter.
No,
as you can tell, I don't like D&D.
Mine is.
For Firefly to get ready, all I would do is I would go, I'm going to rewatch the season and the movie while I'm writing out the campaign. Because
if we were to play the season in the background as we're playing, it'd be
it'd be pretty easy.
You'd be just in character.
I'm sorry.
So much.
I love that movie ever since the first time I heard Jane say, "That's why I don't kiss him on the mouth." That right there.
The first how I got introduced to that, and here we got off of gaming to Firefly, but years ago the series had just been canceled. I caught little bits of it, and I came over to Daryl's house, and for some reason his computer was set up in the basement, like that's where he goes and does his business, So
that was when Jess and I were living in the duplex.
In the duplex, and I went down there. And he's like, "You haven't watched Firefly? What the fuck's wrong with you?" And he goes, "Just watch this scene." And it was the "By My Pretty Little Bonnet" scene, And I was
yeah,
holy shit, this was funny the whole time. I had no idea. And from that moment on, I was hooked. I came home and I went and bought the box set. Christy and I watched it, and it was like, "Oh, that's awesome." So I can't say I was one of those guys from the get go, but
that. When I was working at Cargill in the R&D facilities, in the research labs, one of the chemists there, she is the one that told me about Firefly, and she's like, "Dude, you got to watch it." And I was like, "Okay, whatever. I don't know. I don't care." All right. And she told me because it was just right as it had ended, and she gave me like the torrent where I could download it from because it was no longer on, and I downloaded it. And then at that point, I was like, "Fuck! I got to go out and buy the DVDs." And then we started lending the DVDs to people, and they would never come back. I think I purchased like 4 or 5 sets of those DVDs.
Say, look at me! I bought 2 sets, one for lending and one for me. So I still have.
You're smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt real bad because years ago, many years ago, I think it was one of the very first, like second Tsunami-Con or something. Mikey Mason was there, and he is a huge Firefly fan. He does annual Firefly concert with Mark Gunn from the Renaissance podcast, and he does he's done a couple Firefly albums, different things like that. And so we leave the convention to go do some promo work for the convention at the Borough, and one of Mikey Mason's buddies had driven in from some other state just to see him. And so me and this buddy were hitting it off, and we're talking. And he goes and signs up for a drawing at the Borough, and he ends up winning a Serenity ship that's about this big, with about almost 2 foot long, 1.5 feet. And it was like a dice game. Yeah, it was like a dice game. It was awesome. And he's like, "Oh, I can't take this back." I think he flew in. He's like, "I can't fly it back." And so he's like, "I'm going to give it to you because you're a Firefly fan," and gave it to me right in front of Mikey Mason. And I was like, "Oh, that is so awesome." And I took it and I had it up here in the art room for a little while. And I felt like afterwards, I felt like such a dick because Mikey's like, "I wanted that so bad." It was just, and the thing is, I'm a big fan, but he's like a much bigger fan. He now has it. I gave it to him a couple years ago.
I feel the same way. That one year, Cookie and your dad came out to the Ren Fair, and he was like, "Oh yeah, just got this what is it? The circuit judge carbine." Yeah. And he's like, "Yeah, so I'm just gonna give it to Cookie." And I'm just like, "Fuck your son. Give it to me."
To be honest, I won it at a gun show, and it wasn't good for me to use my name to get it because we'd had to fill out paperwork. So Dad picked it up for me, the motherfucker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was mine.
I love a circuit judge. Yeah. Yep.
I think.
Did you get the 45 410?
Yes, it's in John Henry's room right now.
Excellent.
Yep.
Hey, John, if that
No.
stumbles its way down here, that'd be nice.
He all the time goes, now if there's a revolution, you're set, because I'm storing his weapons for him. And I'm like, Tim, I got no idea what half that shit is, how it goes together, what ammo goes in what gun. Matter of fact, if somebody comes in, I'm gonna just be scaring them by grabbing the closest gun and pointing it at them and hoping, it's but on the Firefly thing, I think one of the things, God, we've gotten way off subject, but that I love so much is, like, that's something my kids watched, enjoyed. That's something my friends, fellow geeks watch, something I enjoy. Hell, my wife collects 2 comic book series. That's it. Tank Girl and Firefly. And that's all she collects. And so if it appeals to the wife, it's worth having that stuff.
It's a bonus.
Although, like, I don't have that Serenity thing on display. It's sitting in a box. I feel horrible.
And you don't even got the picture on display. You got the back of the box.
Yeah.
So,
well,
that's bad.
I don't have a lot of room in this room. I got too much shit, and 3D printers don't help that. So, like, if you guys are thinking about getting a 3D printer, you got to have shelf space.
Did you pull the trigger on one?
On a 3D printer? I did.
Hey,
because Jonathan's getting I
Yeah.
believe Jonathan is getting the Flash Forge. Is it Flash Forge, Jonathan, that you're getting that's got the 4 heads? But what are you getting?
So the Flash Forge is what I had bought on. I went ahead and bought one since I hadn't heard back from you at first. I thought, well, this might be comparable. So I just bought it on Cyber Monday because the one I bought ended up being like 37% off. So it was 226 bucks. Normally, I don't know, 350 or something. And so I just bought it. And then you called me the next morning and told me the inadequacies compared to the one that I wanted to buy that you have, the Elegoo, right?
Yeah.
So I returned it immediately.
You returned it?
I already returned it. Yeah. Because I want to hold out and because you said this one, the sides weren't open. So I checked the next model up, the one I'd bought, and it apparently is just the same thing with some extra added. So, and the main reason I wanted to get that one, which is still in my question route, is that I can do the multiple colors on it eventually. And that's really what I want to start doing some of.
My Anycubic one that has the AMS.
Yeah.
The AMS, truly all I really use it for anymore, like I told you, I mean, there's a few things that I use it for the multicolor, like, Frank Keith, he has me make him signs for his vending, so
I
he
saw
can,
that Casey Renfair, yeah.
And so I'll make those for him and stuff like that. I'll use the multicolor on that, but that is really it. Other than that, I really just use the multi-filament system for filament run out. So I can use a spool all the way down and it will automatically switch over to the next spool.
Well, and I desperately wanted, and I still do want a multicolor.
Thank you, Jonathan.
But the problem I got is just like Jake had said and stuff, the oversaturation of that kind of stuff at conventions and festivals. And it's like, well, when you make stuff, it looks like you bought it right off a shelf. It looks great. But that's not what I'm not trying to make stuff to resell it. I'll resell something every once in a while, but I'm making stuff for the art of it. So half the time I'm like, would I use it a lot? Because I don't want to be one of those guys that's got 800 keychains of like Pokemon shit and everything else. And half the time, if I'm going to make something, I want it to look good. Hey, Jess. But
she just got home from work.
That's right. Cookie was just showing me we'd already been on for an hour too. So I didn't even get to
we've been on
today. We just started talking.
We started late. We've been on for 54 minutes.
Oh, 54 minutes. Okay. Well, that's all right. We owe another few minutes at least. But that's okay too, because if we want to get back on gaming, I could talk for another hour.
Hours.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, that's
Dude,
my geek.
I tell you, I've been putting together, like on the 3-hour drive out to my site today and then back. I'm just sitting there working back and forth with the assistant that I put together. Just okay, let's format this. What are we looking at here? Give me the timeline on such and such. I mean, I'm building the back world on it and making sure everything lines up, and I'm testing it on different things. Okay, let's, this scenario, what what would I have to do in this scenario, and then testing it to make sure. I was catching it on some problems too. Like, I was asking for some certain information, and it was like, oh yeah, this is what you need, and here's the page numbers and everything, and I'm like, well, no, one, you gave me the wrong book. Two, in the book that it is in, you gave me the wrong damn page numbers. So, even though they've made stuff so much better, it still messes up all the time, and it's damn adamant that it's right when it tells you the wrong crap.
That's a fear I have with AI, where people just completely let go
Yeah.
and trust it to be right all the time, and it's not going to be.
Well,
That's one of the things that they've found in the corporate world, when they have started, going hard and using AI, is that it doesn't really save them any time. It's almost the same amount of effort to use the AI, because then they have to go through and correct all the inaccuracies with it, and that's burning up the same amount of time as if they had just done it themselves.
I've noticed that, especially with comic book shit and stuff. I'll test it out all the time, and I'd say when I start asking it questions, unless it's just like, oh, what was the first appearance of Iron Man or Hawkeye or something, yeah, it'll normally get that shit, but not every time. Like, I would say maybe 3/4 of the time, and about 1/4 of the time it's just wrong.
But it's damn adamant when it's wrong.
Well,
it is sure of itself.
There's times it's almost convinced me that I'm wrong, and I'm like, fucking, I got this like knowledge of this shit. So like, I'll go, well, then what about like Giant Size Annual #1? And they'll go, oh, good catch there. Like, it compliments me on pointing out that it was wrong, and they'll go, yeah, technically that was whatever.
Like it was testing you.
Yeah, like yeah, that's it. Make me feel like
I was pulling up some news points, and that's one of the things I do to prep, is I just go ahead and tell it, give me all the geek and nerdy news from the last 3 weeks. All right. And that gives me some things to start working from. Okay. So I have a slew of things. And the first thing it brought up, it had a whole section where it was telling me, of movies, movie release, and a season release that was released at the beginning of 2025, but it was telling me that it was going to come out in 2026. I was like, no, you're absolutely fucking wrong. And I pointed that out, and it said, oh yeah, you're absolutely right. Thanks for letting me know. I'm like, oh,
one of the things that I was doing just to test stuff out was, I can't think of her name now. The redhead off of Stranger Things. She's in the new Spider-Man movie. And I'm getting so sick. Like, they announced what character she's playing like months ago. But there was a big anticipation of whom it might be for a long time. So many YouTubers and so many articles had been written. Even now, YouTubers are still doing like, who's she playing in the movie? And it's like, they announced that shit a month ago or whatever.
Yeah.
So the information's out there, but there's so much false information, speculative information. So if you hop on like ChatGPT and ask, half the time it gives you like a list, or it will tell you something that's totally inaccurate, because there's so much inaccurate news for it out there, if that makes sense. So much speculation. And so it makes
one of the things that got me is, today I was running through, and I was looking for ships with deck plans and stuff like that, because I don't want to have to develop that crap myself. I want something that somebody else has already done from years ago for their gaming. And so I was like, okay,
he wants to be lazy.
Fuck yeah. But
look up a bunch of old Traveler stuff.
Basically, but the problem is that when I was I read through its train of thought, because I was bored as the drone is flying. So I'm reading through its train of thought and everything is going through, and it's sitting there going, okay, he asked for me to go online and look at resources, but I can't go to any not copywritten resources because those are illegal. So I can't bring any of those up. And the copywritten stuff, I can't go through any paywalls, So I'm just going to go ahead and tell them that I can't find anything that is not, legal or copy, and I'm just like, screw you, dude. What's the point of having an AI if it follows the rules?
I get that. I do fear too much of other people using it. And like we're saying, where they just blindly go, whatever it says, that's the answer. I asked the definitive source, and
Yeah,
it's like,
no, it's
you
not
know, it's-
Wikipedia.
yeah, well, and Wikipedia is not a definitive source.
Okay,
Yeah, no.
here's my problem with all the people go, well, it's Wikipedia. People just write that down. What do you think every other fucking book is? Someone just wrote that down.
Well, some of it though is from the source material. So like
But everybody has the
And
access
which
to change
somebody
Wikipedia.
just wrote down.
That's the problem, though. Everybody has the access to change Wikipedia, whereas if it's in a printed book somewhere, nobody has the access to change that except the author that wrote it.
also like,
And
for
you're
example,
assuming that the author that wrote it was correct.
Yeah,
for example, you want a rule out of Dungeon Master's Guide, or you want to find out the backstory of a certain character in a comic book. Marvel puts out Marvel Universe, and that's the whole reason it exists, is to tell you the backgrounds of those characters. Or like Dungeon Master's Guide, it will tell you the exact rule in there. So when it's coming from the source itself, then yeah, I'll give it that. Like that means something more than just somebody just writing it down. So like if I
But
wrote a story,
when it comes to like
J.R.
Wikipedia,
Tolkien says
that's
it. Huh?
they don't just let anybody write stuff on Wikipedia, and that Wikipedia stuff that's curated as well. People who are in charge and moderate what people put on. You can't just go in there and put anything.
But
Although
you
there
gotta
were
admit-
some issues. There was the one that I thought was just adorable is that under the definition of dog, if you looked up dog on Wikipedia, they had to lock down the image because everybody who had the access to go ahead and alter were all putting images of their dogs up. They were taking down everybody else's image and putting their dog up. And I liked that.
You have to admit, though, there is a lot of inaccurate information on Wikipedia.
There's a lot of inaccurate information everywhere.
Oh, I get that. But yeah,
I would put Wikipedia in the top tier of
I-
inaccurate
I
information.
I don't know if
No,
I would say
Snopes.
I-
And right next to truth, right next to to Truth Media. Put those right there, and then just tie them all
said
together with
tier. I didn't
Fox.
say individual. I said tier. They all occupy that tier.
it would be nice if more often. I know you can ask a lot where it gets sources and stuff, but more often it wouldn't
Well-
cite some of its sources.
That's the whole thing when it comes to using Wikipedia is Wikipedia that everything that is supposed to be factual information is got its its footnotes, which tells you where they got it from. All right. And what always confused me is people would go, oh, you can't get that from Wikipedia because Wikipedia is not trustworthy. But if you clicked on the link and go to where Wikipedia got it from, then used that, they would say, okay, that's trustworthy.
Well, again, depending on
Motherfucker.
what that source is. Like if I want to go, what engine came in a 1967 Jeep Wrangler? Well, they didn't have
They
Jeep
didn't- yeah, I
Wranglers.
was
They
about
had
to tell you.
fucking-
Well,
You're
yeah,
almost as inaccurate as
already.
Gee, see, but now this information's out there, and somebody's going to go the 1967 Jeep Wrangler is where. But so let's say a 1967 Willys, flat fender Willys. Okay, what engine came out in that? And that comes from, the official Jeep website that Chrysler now owns. I would take
Well-
that as more of something than it came from Tim Boy's mechanic shop in fucking
Why are you
Kansas.
pointing at me like this
Because
is
you're-
inaccurate shit?
You're right here, motherfucker.
But what if Tim Boy is the penultimate Jeep 67 Jeep Wrangler mechanic?
And Tim Boy knows that they didn't make a 67 Jeep Wrangler. It was a 67 Willys JP, by the way.
So
But
you guys, motherfuckers, see what I should never have said
But-
a Jeep.
I mean, look at. Even science. I'm science's bitch. All right, I'm all science. All right, but even if you go back to the science that we were taught when we were kids, all right, what was
Yeah.
factual then is not factual now. Back then, dinosaurs were tail draggers. All
Yeah,
right,
see, this is the thing that
correct,
bothers me.
correct,
How
Mundo.
guys like this and will go, it's a scientifically proven fact. Yeah, today it is.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
what about next week?
But how do you know what science today isn't going to be as wrong as that tail dragger, no feather wearing thing?
but that's the thing. Science changes when new information is given that disproves the old one. So science is the best we know right now. Okay,
But science.
that
Why?
doesn't mean
Because of
that
the
we're not going to get
scientific-
better. But
Why? Because
you
of the
know
scientific
what is that
process, or
Tim
because
Minchin
it's
said? What was that Tim Minchin said that science changes its changes what it says based on what's observed, where religion ignores observation so faith can be preserved.
And
Okay,
see,
but-
he's
So-
using Tim Minchin as Wikipedia now. What makes Tim Minchin the definitive source on this shit?
and
Who
here
said
we go
he was?
again.
Who said he
What
was
he's saying-
I'm
Wikipedia?
giving you
You're
shit.
putting.
what Daryl's trying to
Listen
say is science
here,
is the only
Tim
thing that can change
O'Reilly.
its mind.
See, science
You're
fiction.
going to be
stays
John
true.
O'Reilly.
What? Sorry, what?
I say you're arguing like Tim O'Reilly. You're putting words in my mouth, motherfucker. Go on to Fox Friends.
No, I was using your own words against you. There's a difference, man. See, that's
No, I never
I don't
said
know
he
how
was
many-
Wikipedia. You said it.
No, I said you're using him as Wikipedia. See, I didn't
No, I'm
say.
not.
see,
I
you're
said he
using
said an
my
interesting
words now.
thing.
Okay, let's shift
No, we're
gears.
giving each other shit. Trust
Yeah,
me.
let's
Trust
no,
me.
no,
it
let's
is.
shift
It
gears
is.
because I want to give in this one Geekgasm I got.
Okay.
Oh, what'd you get?
D&D 6th edition E. There's a leak out of it by one of the game devs that it was talking about it's going to go back to be closer to D&D advanced first edition.
Again,
Okay, so
something
let
else
me
you can
let me see if I can understand here. D&D, their book sales are down, so they're releasing a new edition so they
edition.
can get their book sales back up.
They're going to make it, and there's a marketing strategy in this. I think they're
You
going to make it. They're going to make it simpler, like first edition, and give the game master more strength to where he doesn't have to just follow stuff.
Screw
Screw
Thaco.
Thaco.
Come
Yeah,
on, Preston.
But once they
No
make
one
it
understood
simpler,
Thaco. Thaco was the 6-7 of its day. It just was.
whatever. Yeah, they're going to make it simpler so they can get more players on. Then they're going to make it more complicated again and have a seventh.
How are they
edition.
going to make it simpler? The stuff that they've been playing here recently was so damn simple that it took all the fun out of it. Everything was just cookie cutter.
Simpler is not the thing they're going for. What they're going for, I'm assuming, is people are asking for this, or they're unhappy with the way this is going. So we're going to give them a little bit of this, get them started again, and then we're going to release a whole bunch of shit they got to buy until they finally give up, and then nobody's buying again, and then we'll just re-release it again. This is what every gaming company everywhere does.
I think they're going to go back to the beginning, and just
Except for
restart the roll
GURPS.
all over again. Because if you guys remember when D&D first came out in basic and in first edition and expert and advanced, your character was a normal, common person. Even though he may have been a fighter, a cleric, a mage, a ranger, whatever, he was crunchy as a bag of Frito chips. You know, a wizard's had 1d4 hit points. 1d4. A kobold can take you out on a bad day.
I will say one of my favorite systems, Palladium, is one of the reasons I think all that shit went shit. It's like, you want to roll up a character that can blow up a planet at first level? Here's your options.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And D&D is like that now. You can have first level people who have all kinds of incredible powers or super awesome magic weapons or really super cool backstories. When D&D first came out, you were making your backstory right then when your character was made up.
They should mention, Daryl says, except for GURPS. GURPS didn't do that. But then again,
Hold
GURPS
on.
isn't the one you see at the front rack when you walk into the gaming store.
No, it isn't. It is.
It's not the
Well,
table
neither
for
is-
20 gamers at the convention, is it?
Neither is Palladium, but you mentioned that shit.
I know. Palladium needed to die when it died.
When it did Rifts.
When it did
When it
Rifts.
did Rifts.
GURPS,
But before that,
GURPS
it was on the rack right next to the cool stuff.
That's true.
GURPS just Steve Jackson Games just came out that they are redoing the GURPS rulebook, but they made a point to they made it a point that all they're doing is just going through and cleaning it up and fixing all the errors in it. They're not changing the game, the core game rules, so that way you don't have to buy the new book.
If more games did that, like Blood Bowl is one I bitch about all the time. Blood Bowl is one of the few things that Games Workshop didn't touch for 35 years. And then just recently they decided, and I was playing with the same shit I had in high school. And now they're like, we re-released it. But they didn't like simplify it or make it better. Like Mordheim and some of that stuff they tried to do. They
Mordheim's
just said,
still hanging
"Oh,
in there, bro.
we got to do this so that we can make as much money as humanly possible, and you can't use any of your shit from before." That makes me go, I don't want to play. Not only do I not want to play your new game, I don't want to play any of your games.
Mhm.
You know, I get so sick of that to where I half the time. That's why I like playing with friends that played back in the day, because it's like we can just play a lot of the old shit. And then when
See-
you bring new people in, they go, "Oh, I like this old way you guys play."
Yep.
You know, leave it the fuck alone.
The thing I like about my favorite gaming system, what made it really great back in the day, all right, what made it really great is across the board, no matter if you had something that you liked, if you liked Vampire the Masquerade, if you liked D&D, if you liked Spelljammer, if you liked any of these other game systems, there was a book you could buy from GURPS that went ahead and ported all that over to GURPS, so you could play their game on GURPS. And and the great thing about that is then you could go ahead, you could take your Vampire the Masquerade and put it into a D&D game and run and then go to Rivendell with it, whatever the hell you wanted, you could do that. And because they didn't necessarily make good stories, they stole other people's good stories, which I can appreciate.
But I'll say GURPS did it in a way to where, at least the way I see it, it's here's what we have. You take it and you be creative with it. You help create this world. Here's what we have, and you expand upon it. Palladium, when they did their shit, and they said, "Oh, well, we're just going to take all our different games, Recon and After the Bomb, and all this shit, and we're going to put it into one big universe called Rifts." That ruined everything, because then all they did was say, now you can have everything all together, instead of here's one universal playing system that you can have everything as you want it. Instead, they're just like, we're going to put it all in one big pot, stir it together, and make a fucking stew out of it. What you got?
I would like to point out, and this is what we should end on here, I'd like to point out that encapsulates everything wrong with Marvel and the multiverse, is they're jamming everything together and just making a big goulash of it.
That's how they can keep from doing all the retcons they have to do.
I agree with it. And it started way back with like fucking Ultimates and stuff in the comics, where they were just like, oh, we can tell any story, which is great. But then they'd say, now let's link that story to the main universe somehow, so we can keep making money off of it. And it ruined a lot of shit for me, because people will
using the multiverse so they don't have to, so they can retcon stuff and do all that stuff like that. To me, that is the same cheap way as, a writer that goes, oh, well, it was all a dream.
Yes. Oh, I agree with that a lot. Oh man.
Yeah.
So that's
but
one
anyways,
of the
we've been
comic books are doing so bad, and sales are going off, because everybody's like, writing sucks. And the best comic book writing we've had in years are the offshoot stories that they're like, nope, this is its own contained thing. Like fucking Turtles: The Last Ronin, great series. It's its own fucking thing, Yeah, I could talk on that for a couple hours, so we should probably tie it up. But
yeah, we should go ahead, because it's after 8:20. So everybody, great to be back. Lovely talking to everybody. And we need to settle down and iron out a date, that all five of us get together and work on our stuff.
Okay. I wouldn't mind even doing it up at the borough sometime, so that other people can come in and like.
I wouldn't mind either. Yeah, I would totally love to do that. Although, someone mentioned at the beginning of this podcast how difficult it is for them to work and get down to Wichita to game, but we won't talk about that.
It is true. It is true. That's why I said sometime. I didn't say like weekly. So
yeah, tomorrow. Yeah, no, okay.
We'll see you guys later. Hugs and kisses.
All right, let me go ahead. Bye.